It's Perp back with another video, and man, what a way to start off the season. And we continue that momentum as we find out exactly what happened to Tin-Chan, Kenny's mom. It picks up with Jade finding Boyd there, and also Tin-Chan just completely mangled, bro, while Jimmy and Kenny end up finding food that they can actually eat, so they get excited, but don't get too excited. And on the flip side, we see exactly what's going on with like Tabitha and Victor's father, Henry, and Henry not really trusting Tabitha, and she pretty much has to kind of convince him to like kind of believe in her. Meanwhile, back at the town, news is spreading about Tin-Chan's death, and it's just really a blow, a gut punch to everybody, especially Boyd. Boyd is just kind of reflecting on seeing exactly what happened to Tin-Chan, and they were pretty much picking up her apart, and just making him watch. And this is just kind of burned into his brain, and Ethan's kind of taking this really bad. Victor gets really emotional, starts to say like, "See, I told you, bro, nothing good happens. There's only death here in this place." So he ends up taking off. Tabitha tries to reason with Henry and shows him missing reports, and she doesn't really remember everybody's name. It just seems really unbelievable. Henry ends up calling the cops though, so he just wants to stick around. But things get interesting. Going back to Boyd, he is confronted by Donna. Donna starts to kind of put blame on him, saying like, "You didn't have to go out there and risk your life." And I was like, are you serious? And I could kind of see both. I can kind of see both sides of the story, right? Where Donna is looking at it from like, you know, is it really worth, you know, the lives that we lost just for some cows and stuff like that? Tin-Chan would have still been here. But Boyd is kind of looking at like, we would have died if we couldn't find another kind of source. They kind of have this back and forth, and now there's going to definitely be some type of rift between those two now. Fatima is still throwing up. Now she's starting to lose teeth. Something is going on. Something is really weird. There's something weird happening with the baby. Maybe it's not a baby, and a lot of people have predicted maybe there's a monster growing inside of her belly, and that's why it's rejecting the food. So they end up going to go see Christy to figure out what's going on. But Christy is not there. It's only her girl is there, and they don't really kind of trust her. They kind of give her the side eye. They're just like, oh, we'll just wait until she gets back. Then we switch things over to Boyd and Christy. They're having a whole conversation. Christy's trying to give like Boyd some words of encouragement, but they see that Kenny and Jimmy have got back into town, and now they have to pretty much tell the news to Kenny that his mom has passed. And the actor that plays Kenny does a phenomenal job in this, because he's just kind of trying to keep it together, but he's also kind of frustrated, angry, feeling all these types of emotions. Tells Christy that his mom used to say this saying that she was repeating to Boyd that comes back into play in this episode. Ellis and Fatima end up getting like a sigh of relief because the baby's okay. She's just malnourished. But there's probably a lot more to it. She kind of glosses over it. Doesn't do a great job of really checking up on her, and that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Christy ends up leaving Kenny to kind of just, you know, be by himself. But of course, as soon as she leaves, the radio starts playing "Celebration, Good Times, Come On," and starts antagonizing Kenny off the rep. This place has no chill, bro. Kenny destroys the music box and just kind of goes off frustrated. Now, Victor's father feeds Tabitha and says, you know, "I'm sorry. about all of this. It's just really hard for me to believe, and then starts to mention, you know, tell stories about his life, his wife, his kids, and exactly what happened to them. Then he mentions the basement, and my mind immediately went to Attack on Titan, because, you know, there's always some type of secret that's in the basement. I found that to be pretty funny. And then we also get a scene of Julie really going in on Jim, saying like, yo, you gotta be here. I can't have something happen to you and having to deal with Ethan. I can't go through that again. Brings up Thomas once again. So there's a rift between these two, because she's upset that her mom may never come back, and there's just a lot of things that's weighing on her that she doesn't really want to deal with. So one of the things that Kenny and Christy were talking about is Kenny wants Christy to do her best to kind of just make her look presentable and fix her up a bit. And that's a lot to ask for Christy, but she's going to do it. Not alone, Jade is going to help her as well. Fatima and Ellis end up going back to the house, but Fatima tells Ellis, you know, go check on your dad. I'll be okay here. This is where we get the explanation of what they're trying to do with the crops. They're going to try to salvage them in a way that they can probably reverse the effects of it rotting. What's interesting, though, is Fatima starts to eat these things like crazy, and that makes me think that this baby is not a normal baby, that this thing feeds off of dead things or some type of creature. We get a scene that really pissed me off. We see a scene of Donna cutting up Mustafa. Ethan comes in and asks the dumbest fucking question, like, is that how tension looks? I was just like, bro, can we just switch places? Can we just get rid of Ethan, please? You know, I know I'm not the only one that thinks that. I know he's a kid, but we ain't gonna miss him, bro. He be just saying some dumb shit, doing dumb shit. You know, he's pissed me off at this point. Going back to Christy and Jade, them cleaning up Kenny's mom, Sarah comes in, because Sarah doesn't have much of a presence, but she definitely comes in clutch while, like, she saves Julie in the first episode of the season. People are still kind of rocky with her, but it's nice that she also feels bad about Tenshin's death and mentions, like, her intention used to try on dresses, and this is what she wanted to wear when they left this place. So I thought that was a really touching thing for Sarah to do. Now we go to Boyd and Kenny, where Kenny's like just furious and he's ready to just go to those tunnels and just kill as many, destroy that whole place. And Boyd's like, I'm going to go with you. And before they can get even into the tunnels, they start to have this conversation. Boyd lets Kenny know, like, I was there. They made me watch. And they kind of embrace each other. And he's able to get Kenny to come back to, you know, the town, because they don't even know if they are still in that cave. They could have moved. Who knows? But Kenny finally seeing his mom there had to be one of the saddest moments of the series thus far. That was just very heavy, and like I said, great acting from everybody in this episode. Everybody really turned it up to 10. So now they're getting ready for this funeral service. Julie kind of confronts Sarah, telling her, thank you for saving my life, and also lets her know that, like, yo, this place is getting to me, and says some fucked up shit, saying, like, I'm kind of scared. I'm thinking, like, I don't want to end up like you and this place kind of possess me, which is fucked up, but Sarah understands. So we get this really dope scene, what's in the basement, with Victor's father, Henry, kind of breaking down that his wife used to have these visions and started to paint things similar to what Victor's doing, painting things that hasn't happened yet or are about to happen. And him narrating while this funeral was going on gave me absolute chills. So now we're starting to get some answers, some pieces to the puzzle are being put together. Boyd is finally fed up and he wants to catch another one of these things to pretty much probably interrogate them to figure out what really is going on. Things between Jim and his kids aren't really going well. But then the episode ends with Jim going back into the house, and then the phone rings. He answers the phone, and it ends up being Thomas. Really dope episode, man. Definitely one of the saddest so far. What's going to go on with Fatima and the baby, that's going to be an interesting revelation. The stuff with Tabitha, has she finally pieced things together? What's Boyd going to end up doing? A lot of interesting things went down in this episode, but I want to know your thoughts. How did you feel about this episode? Let me know in the comments below. Till next time, I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.